The best way actually to comfort us is to bring Sebern Fisher, who is our leader in the field of neurofeedback, who is a person who is behind all this process of integrating neurofeedback with psychotherapy to support recovery of clients who are survivors of developmental trauma. So Sebern, welcome here. We are so grateful for your presence today, and also I think that this is our opportunity to talk about your webinar with us that will happen in February this year. So if you can give us just a few words on what we can expect as a treat today.
Well, it'll only be brief. I just wanted to, those were two fabulous presentations, and it's always wonderful to see whatever way this work is taken forward. And STARTS is one of the leading leaders in the field and needs to be supported with every bit of intentionality that can be brought to bear. What I will be talking about really is an overview of the latest neuroscience, which you've gotten a taste of already in these presentations. But really specifically how this affects the brain into adulthood, and how we can work with that with psychotherapy and neurofeedback. So I'm looking forward to this. I will have hopefully quite a bit of time for question and answers so people can begin to integrate this into their thinking. It has come, I've been doing this now for 25 years, and it's very clear to me, abundantly clear, that people with these histories of developmental trauma have a much better shot at recovery, at really full recovery and fulfilling the potential of that last quote, if we can help them organize their brains and reduce arousal. So that's what I'll be talking about.
Sebern, can you just tell us a little bit about your book? Because I think that that's one of the fundamental books that we have to read if we work with developmental trauma, not just for those who are practicing neurofeedback, but for all practitioners in the field. If you can just tell us a few sentences about your book.
I'm not prepared for this ad, so you have to know. I wrote a book published by Norton called Neurofeedback in the Treatment of Developmental Trauma, which is not a title that I wanted. Subtitle, Calming the Fear-Driven Brain, which is the title that I did want. But, you know, it's a professional publishing outfit, so they had to have a professional title. I really just go through the whole rationale for neurofeedback. I talk about my own, and I'll talk about that a little on my own webinar about how I got into this, because I don't know that I ever would have gotten into it listening to a webinar. I got into this because it had worked so profoundly for me. And I keep discovering what neurofeedback can do and how it enhances psychotherapy. So that's what I wrote about, and there are case studies throughout the book. There's one chapter of case studies, one of DID, one where my patient was pregnant and there was profound quieting of fetal movement, which is really a case study that everybody should read, and there should be clinical follow-up on this to see if we can quiet intergenerational transmission of trauma. And the third person is someone who had Asperger's and an eating disorder, was very treatment resistant. And so I go through what happened in each of those cases in every session, or in summary, depending on how much you can tolerate the detail of these things. So that was published in 2014, and I continue to learn. I continue to learn from Mariana, among other people. Thank you. There it is. It looks like even the cover has been bent a little. So all right. So so anyway, I wish I were in Australia often these days. But I'm very glad to visit virtually.